Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Lloyd's ASMR. So I'm sure all of you have seen the new Superman movie that's out now. Well, the official comic book stories that inspired the new movie. This is a series of comics, all wrapped up into one little book. Pretty nifty, huh? I agree. Now, me personally, I'm not really a Superman fan. I'm more of a Batman fan. I never really got into the whole over-the-top superheroes. I was more into realistic superheroes. But hey, to each their own. But either way, whether you're a Superman fan or not, it should be pretty relaxing. So, if you like, find yourself a nice, cozy, comfy spot. Maybe grab yourself a little snack and a beverage to go with that snack. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay, well, some pretty cool artwork, if I may say so. Here we have the origin story. Superman fans can thank two teens for dreaming up a timeless hero. The story of Superman began not on the planet Krypton, but the city of Cleveland, Ohio, with writer Jerry Siegel and artist Joe Shuster, both born in 1914. They met at Glenville High School and bonded over a mutual love of science fiction, movies, and newspaper comic strips. Together, their most famous creation was Superman, soon to emerge as the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way, and also a universal symbol of virtue, strength, and optimism. Well, I did not know that. I did not know that it was created in 1914. Wow. That is old. What does it say here? Superman's debut in Action Comics #1, cover dated June 1938, was a milestone of historic proportions. It marked the beginning of what we consider a superhero, complete with costume, secret identity, and other worldly abilities. The fantastical powers made the character super, but what made him heroic was his noble and enduring goodness, a quality that has never stopped giving people hope. In the years, decades, and generations that followed, Superman's iconic presence expanded from comic books to newspapers to radio to movies to television. Superman remains all around us with new stories and adventures. Still, Superman is so everything that it's easy to take him for granted. For anyone who needs a reason to celebrate the Man of Steel, his anniversary lands on April 18th, the date of his first appearance in 1938. And on July 11th, 2025, a new feature film called Superman, of course, will be released. The movie was written and directed by James Gunn and stars David Corenswet as the titular hero, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, and Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. What can fans expect? New thrills, the return of familiar friends and foes, and a story that draws inspiration from the pages of 3 classic comic books. And they are All-Star Superman #1, Superman for All Seasons #1, and Lex Luthor Man of Steel #1. This official DC Comics compilation offers these influential tales together in one book, with additional insights and facts to prepare you for the new Superman movie. If it's been a minute, or maybe years, since you last indulged in the enjoyment of a Superman story, don't worry. Dreamers of all ages are welcome. And always remember, there's nothing wrong with looking up to the sky. It's okay to believe a man can fly. And it's not naive to expect good to conquer evil. Superman is here. I like that, actually. That's good stuff. Okay. So first released with an on-sale date November 2005 and ending in 2008, after a 12-issue run, All-Star Superman was created to be timeless. Yet, instead of revisiting Superman's origins or past canon, writer Grant Morrison and illustrator Frank Quitely drafted a tale that was classic, but also entirely new. At a press event for the Superman 2025 trailer in December of 2024, director James Gunn spoke about how All-Star Superman shaped the new film. All-Star Superman is the thing that we borrow the most heavily from, he said. Our plot has nothing to do with All-Star Superman, but some of the aesthetics of what Grant wrote and what Frank drew were incredibly influential. They also had that sort of science fiction and the idea of Lex Luthor as a mad scientist sorcerer. And the giant, the monsters and the threats and all of that. The Silver Age look through a green lens. Doomed planet. Desperate scientists. Last hope. Kindly couple. Now, I'm probably not going to read the comic because there's some things, words and things like that YouTube would probably find offensive. But we can read the trivia and just enjoy the art. And maybe chit-chat while we're doing it. So, first trivia. The first Superman story in Action Comics #1, cover dated June 1938, was 13 pages long. Wow. Let's see how long this is. Well, we'll see. Okay, so look at this here. As a kid, I used to love comics, and the artwork is just... Some comics have some really fantastic artwork. It's actually quite amazing. Oh. See, is that Lex Luthor? It must be. There's Lex Luthor. The Daily Planet. But yeah, unfortunately, I originally had planned on reading the entire comic. But then as I was doing it, I came across things that might be seen as offensive. So, in order to prevent drama and such, I'm not going to do that. The original Superman newspaper comic strip debuted on January 6, 1939, and ran for more than 27 years. Wow. That's pretty intense. Yeah, I don't know why I never got into, these, superheroes with magical powers and stuff like that. It just, I don't know, never really piqued my interest. Trivia. The name Clark Kent was inspired by two popular actors in the 1930s and 1940s, Clark Gable and Kent Taylor. Well, look at that. You learn something new every day. I had no idea. As far as reading the comic, that actually might be something I could do on Patreon. something you would want me to do, let me know in the comments. I'll see what I can do about it. Also in the comments below, I'd like to hear who your favorite superhero is and why. Who knows? Maybe you'll talk me into gaining a new superhero. Because that's right now it's just Batman. Trivia. Superman was the first superhero to be given his own comic book, which debuted in the summer of 1939. Wow. There he is. I think that's him. He's looking a little combobulated. Oh yeah, that's definitely him. So there he goes. Originally, Superman could leap great distances, but did not fly. In Action Comics #1, he could leap up to an eighth of a mile. Well, that's interesting. So before they gave him the ability to fly, they just made it that he could leap. Big jump. Big jump. Yeah, I can kind of see why that would look a little silly. And why they changed it to allowing him to fly. And otherwise, they might as well call him Super Frogger or something. Superman for all seasons. Strong roots. Superman's values were formed in Smallville. Who is the real Superman? Earth's powerful savior from Krypton? Or the boy raised by human parents? Superman for All Seasons #1, cover dated September 1998, addresses this by exploring Clark Kent's upbringing in Smallville. Written by Jeff Loeb and illustrated by the late Tim Sale, Superman for All Seasons makes young Clark the hero of spring. The first installment of a limited comic book series that spans 4 issues. High schooler Clark doesn't know he's anything more than a Kansas farm boy, nurtured by 2 loving parents. By story's end, he is told the truth, but the values learned during his childhood ultimately shape his character. In 2023, James Gunn shared his appreciation for Superman for All Seasons on social media. His message hinted that our hero's dual identity in the movie would be based on the series. A huge influence, Gunn wrote, and a strangely perfect bookend with All-Star Superman. This must be Kansas. There's a young Clark little tractor plowing the fields. My goodness. That's hilarious. Dude's sitting here holding a big rock up. He's looking pretty oblivious. At least until now. Dinner with the Kents. Oh, is this his girlfriend? Maybe. Or is it his... Oh, never mind. Maybe his sister or something. Trivia. Superman for All Seasons was a tonal influence on the TV series Smallville. Yeah, I think we all kind of knew that one. That's not much of a trivia, is it? More like just a fun fact. Old Ma and Pa sitting out on the porch having a good old time. Smallville, Kansas, right here. Superboy made his debut print appearance in More Fun Comics number 101 in 1945. I don't recall ever hearing about Superboy. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. It's been a while since I really paid attention to any superhero comics or movies or anything like that, so. That is a busy diner. Wow, check that out. Superman's hair is so thick it broke the metal scissors. That's pretty deep. What would happen? Hopefully his hair just doesn't grow any more than it already has. Otherwise I could see that becoming a problem. How do you cut somebody's hair that is strong as steel? In Action Comics number 252, cover dated May 1959, Superman met his Kryptonian cousin, Kara, who became Supergirl. Wow. Oh, maybe that's who that was. That might have been Supergirl. That girl that I pointed to back there at the kitchen table. And anyhow, Superman's costume, as originally rendered by Joe Shuster, was based on outfits worn by circus performers. always wondered, what's up with Superman's costume? And it's kind of an embarrassing costume, if you ask me. So, yeah, that makes sense now. Like one of those tightrope walkers. They always wear the tights and the underwear over the tights. Is this tornado still going on? Oh, it's wiping out. Looks like it wiped out the entire town. Though powerful on Earth, Superman would not be powerful on Krypton because of its red sun. Wow. As I look at these amazing photos or drawings, I just gotta think, this must take forever to draw. Probably takes a lot of patience, that's for sure. Trivia. Jerry Siegel, whatever, said that a lot of Clark Kent's personality was based on himself. That's probably like one of the best ways to build a character, is just base it on either yourself or a friend or somebody, gives like that baseline for a story. Trivia. Superman's Kryptonian name is Kal-El, spelled Kal-El, in comic books until 1957. Wow, we have some hidden gem here. I did not know that. Well, now I can't look at Superman the same way. Now I see him as Kal-El. I almost said Cowtail. But Kal-El. Hello, Kal-El. Buns of steel. Sheesh. The town of Smallville wasn't named in comic books until Superboy number 2 in 1949. Yeah, I mean, that wasn't too far off from the beginning of Superman. A couple years down the line, I guess. Now, is that Superdog? Which I think they added the dog in the movie. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think I've seen it. Wait, is it even named Superdog, or? It must be. Superman, Supergirl, Superboy, Superdog. Superbird, Superpaw. Super Sunset. Smallville was first associated with Kansas in the 1978 movie Superman. Wow. It's a pretty nice sunset. Pink lemonade, cotton candy skies. Trivia. Martha Kent is the person who makes Superman's first costume. Huh, well, no kidding. See, that's how much I follow Superman. I always thought he just constantly had it on underneath everything. But apparently it was made at one point. Trivia. Adventure Comics number 210, cover dated March 1955, introduced Crypto, Superman's pet dog from Krypton. Okay. Why wouldn't they just name it a super dog? But I like Crypto better anyhow, so let's go. Oh, the villain. What makes Lex Luthor a worthy opponent? Let's find out. Written by Brian Azzarello and illustrated by Lee Bermejo. Lex Luthor, Man of Steel, is a 5-issue limited series that debuted in a comic book cover dated March 2005. What makes Lex Luthor, Man of Steel, unique is that the main focus of the series is Luthor, a brilliant scientist and successful businessman who mistrusts Superman's intentions and considers him a threat. Past movie versions of Luthor did little to explore his backstory or why he hates Superman. The character is usually depicted as jealous, greedy, and often a comedic foil. That will be different in the new movie, with Nicholas Hoult portraying Luthor in a much more threatening way. I don't think we've ever seen the Lex that Nick is, Gunn said on Josh Harwood's Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. He is imposing. Lex is so smart, so good at what he's doing. You see where Lex is now. He's not the person you want to have against you. Ooh. Well, that sounds like Lex Luthor might just be hardcore in this new movie. Well, that's good, because, in a superhero movie, who wants a villain that's going to be easy to defeat, or a villain that's just mediocre? There's no fun in that. No, in a superhero movie, you need a villain that just sends chills down your spine or something. Trivia. The first comic book story for Lex Luthor was in Action Comics number 23, cover dated April 1940. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Throughout my entire life, I always thought Superman was created in the 60s. I had no idea he was that old. Learn something new every day. Actually, if I have time, by the end of this magazine, I might read one or two of these for you all. I'll just have to skip all the bad parts, but we'll see. I thought that was Quint from Jaws. Okay. That is totally Quint from Jaws. Is that a PT Cruiser? Eesh. Superman says, I don't like PT Cruisers. So he's going to throw it at Lex Luthor. In the comic books, Lex Luthor first appeared bald in Superman Volume 1, Number 10, cover dated June 1941. So, was he originally supposed to be bald? Or did he have hair before 1941? I don't know, I don't think I could see him as the villain that he is if he had a full head of hair. It just kind of seems disappointing. The bald look kind of fits, the whole villain approach. Now you just picture if Lex Luthor had a mullet. Or if he had one of those little tails on the back. Bald head, but just a little patch with a tiny little rat tail. There's a funny story to that. But I'm not gonna say it on here. Superman. I don't know why they continue after the first couple of shots. If he doesn't go down after the first couple of shots and he's still coming strong, looking like that, I think it's probably time to run instead of keeping up the good old fight. That'd be just common sense, right? In the 1978 movie, Gene Hackman, Lex Luthor, received higher billing than Christopher Reeve, Superman. Well, that is interesting. I think I'm pretty sure that I've seen Superman, the old one, when I was a kid, but I can't be certain. It seems familiar though, so I more than likely did, or at least I saw bits and pieces of it. But yeah, Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor was pretty wild. Lex Luthor's full name is Alexander Joseph Lex Luthor. So Lex is his nickname. Otherwise it's Alexander Joseph Luthor. There it is, the end of our little comic. It's like All-Star Superman, DC graphic novels, wherever comics and books are sold. Alright, well, I took a little gander at how long the video is, and it's already at like an hour long, or at least pretty close to it. So unfortunately we can't read any of the comics, but again, if you'd like to see this on Patreon, see me read the comics, go through it up close maybe, then let me know in the comments below, and I'll see what I can do. Because like I said, there's a lot of things that are said in here that I'd unfortunately have to skip anyway on YouTube because they're offensive. So, okay, well, I hope that you all enjoyed this old-fashioned magazine flip-through. It's definitely one of my favorite triggers is, slow page turning, tracing from time to time. Sometimes it can get a little old, but I enjoy it. Okay, well, like I said, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Hope you could find it relaxing. than just something to get your inner nerd going on. Until next time, folks, this is Lloyd's ASMR.